Hi guys, so this is Jess. We are now on episode 7, and today we're going to talk about variables. So to put it simply, variables are used to store a piece of information that can be referenced or reused at a later point in time. In Power Virtual Agents, variables are used to save a user's response. So in this example, you want to ask the user his or her name, and we want to save that information into a variable. So we want to identify and use the person name entity here, and we want to save that information on a variable called name. And then we can later reuse that variable as the conversation continues so that the bot has a personal way of calling the user. So another useful thing about variables is that you can use them to create logical expressions. In earlier episodes, I've discussed about pre-built and custom entities and how they're being extracted and being saved to a variable as a certain type. So for example, age type of entity is being extracted as a number, Boolean is extracted as a Boolean. So depending on the variable type, certain conditions can be made or certain logical expressions can be made, and you can use that condition to guide the user through your topics. So for example, since we're using a string type of variable, we can have operators like is equal to, and if we change this variable as a number, you can see different operators for different variable types. So you can use that to your advantage to create conditions that can help you guide the user to different paths. You can also use variables as input parameters to certain type of actions. Like Power Automate, you can feed variables as an input parameter. So let me show you a sample flow here that Elaine and I will discuss on future videos. So stay tuned for that. So in this example, in this Power Automate example, you can use the variable as an input parameter. You can also use variables as an output parameter and later use them as the conversation continues, or use them on certain conditions to guide your customer on different conversation paths. Okay. So those are the ways that you can use variables in Power Automate. They're pretty simple to use. They're pretty straightforward. So they're mainly used to store the user's response. You can create different logical expressions out of them. You can reuse them as the conversation continues, and you can feed them to actions and use them as input parameters for your Power Automate or for your Azure bot framework skills that we'll talk about in the coming episodes. So that's it for variables. I hope you learned a thing or two about variables, and thanks for listening, and I hope to see you guys again on the next episodes. Bye bye.